Okay. Hi guys, Dude Jude here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG video. So for today, we're taking a look at the Dinomorphia deck profile post January 2024 ban list. So the 2024 OCG ban list introduced a lot of huge nerfs to a lot of decks like Rescue Ace, while keeping other decks like Fire King still at full power, and with new decks arriving soon, or have just arrived in Terminal World, it's worth looking at how does Dinomorphia fare in the current OCG meta, and I'm gonna show you my deck list entering the format. This will be changing eventually as you play or as I play Dinomorphia as well. So it's gonna be a really interesting format. Fire King is pretty much tier one. After that, it's really diverse. It's a huge mashup of all the new decks alike. So it's gonna be really interesting. So let's get started with the deck profile. So first off, for Dinomorphia, we're gonna go with the usual three Theresia, your main starter. You know, it sets a Dinomorphia trap card directly to from deck. So you really need this. Two Diplos, running three is a consideration, but you don't want to brick hard by drawing two Diplos, so two Diplos in deck lessens the chances of opening with two. That's gonna be cool. And of course, worth noting that these three or these five, they all have graveyard effects that fetch each other from the graveyard. So that's really cool. Apart from their bonus effects, so yeah. So next we have one miscellaneous source. So miscellaneous source is just here, one to protect your Dinomorphia effects and Dinomorphia monsters. So you can protect Theresa here from like an Imperm or Veiler. You can protect your Dinomorphia monsters from getting Super Poly, their branded banishment, especially since brand is pretty prominent right now. So next for the spells, we have the pots. So one pot of prosperity because the ban list only tells you to play one, only allows you to run one. Three duality because it's not hit in the OCG, so we're gonna go with that. Um, drawing both of these is amazing because you can just excavate two cards out of your deck. You can literally excavate nine, get two, so pretty crazy. And Pot of Prosperity is fine because you can banish six in the extra deck easily without any with little consequence. Next for the spells, we have two Fossil Dig. Not once per turn, so you can if you draw both of these, you can get like Theresia and Miscellaneous Source and get your plays going. Oh, worth noting for Miscellaneous Source, you can also use this to special summon any level 4 Dinomorphia because of its effect. You need to banish four monsters. It's fine. Next we have our trap cards. Three domain. This is your branded fusion. You can fuse from hand, field, or deck with this. So really good, really powerful. You can use this on either turn. So you can use this on your turn if you just set it and did not use it, or if you're gonna use something like Arias, which we'll be talking about later. This is really good. However, I prefer Dinomorph Frenzy, which of course will run at 3 because you need 6 fusion traps just to get to your win condition. So Dinomorphia Frenzy is really good because it's more resource efficient than Dinomorphia Domain, and it allows you to just get Rex turn quicker. Next for the 3 of Dinomorphia cards. Dinomorphia Attack, this is your Solemn Strike, this is your main monster negate. It also protects you from battle damage. Any battle damage you take after this card resolves is halved. So it's gonna be really good. Also has the counter trap battle protection. Of course. For counter traps you get battle damage protection for one battle. For normal Dynamorphia traps you get the burn protection. So your card effect burns won't kill you. It just as long as you have them in the graveyard and you have less than 2k LP. Next is Dinomorphia Alert. This is your monster reborn. You can reborn up to level 8. You can reborn Aterize and Diplos. One Kentrigina or one Rexterm. Really good for the grind game as well. Um, Especially if your opponent decides to super polymerization you or kaiju you. It's always great to have a backup. Well, let's go to the one off. So one Sonic, your main spell trap negate. It's really decent. It's really fast. It's really okay. So you can really get going to it. Next we have Dinomorphia Brute, your one card pop. You can use this to pop field spells, annoying floodgates, or specific monsters. Now for the trap tech we have, gonna go with three trap trick. You can just trap trick allows you to banish one trap, set the same copy, activate it in the same turn, but it's the last trap you'll activate for that turn. So it's really good. And it just fetches you a lot of almost every Dinomorphia tech you have here. You can get Domain Frenzy online, you can get Alert online. But the best way to use Trap Trick is to use three Ferret Flames. So Ferret Flames allows you to bounce cards back to your opponent's deck using using your life point count. So if you have lower life points than your opponent, if you have like 500 life points, they must banish cards up to the total life point. They need to have 500 left on the field, 500 attack left on the field. So this is pretty much a board wipe if you time it correctly, especially when combo decks are in the meta. And non-destruction removal is really good against Fire Kings as well. Next, spicy tech. Debunk. So debunk is not once per turn counter trap card and allows you to when a card effect is activated from hand or graveyard, you can negate and banish. So this is really good for something like Fire King and Rescue Ace because if you debunk Rescue Ace, Turbulence will be banished. They won't be able to do the set 4. If you're facing Fire King, they won't be able to summon their Fire Kings from hand, or you can even negate a Populace and banish it, so they won't have recursion on from the graveyard. So yeah, debunk is pretty spicy tech. I'm gonna be playing this more to see how it performs, but I like debunk because it's also a hand trap stopper along with intap and really clutch, especially against decks that have a lot of graveyard recursion. Now we're almost done. Now we're gonna go with the staples. So three max, three ash. You could put three imperm here, but I have it on another deck, so I'm gonna stick with the six hand traps here just for extra consistency. I want to see more trap cards on my deck, so it's fine. Maxi, no explanation here. Best hand trap in the OCG. Uh, Ash, most commonly used card in all of Yu-Gi-Oh, so that's pretty fine. So self-explanatory on those. Use the hand traps as much as possible. Next, we're gonna go with the extra deck. So extra deck, we have one SP. Just in case your opponent puts a Baguska, you can turn some of your monsters into SP, banish that Baguska. Psychic and Punisher is pretty cool because it allows you to go for an OTK, summon a hand trap, and summon the Ash plus Rexterm. You have pretty much an OTK button, especially if the field or you have a they have a monster attack position. That's pretty much spells doom for them. Chaos Angel, you make this using a level 4 and a level 6, so Theresia Diplos or plus Kentragina or Steltbergia. Next, Abyss Dweller. So Abyss Dweller is really good because it shuts down graveyard effects. Quick effect that allows you to prevent your opponent from releasing anything for the graveyard. Really good against stuff like Fire King. So really, really fun, especially against niche use against Sky Striker, but that's irrelevant. If ever Light Swarm becomes meta, that will be really good. We have one Lagia, one Dolka. Your your Solemn Judgment, and your Monster Negate. Dolka is not once per turn, so you can use this in the same chain that you activate the first negate, just as long as you have materials. Lagia uses two materials, so you really have to be precise when using this. Now we're gonna go with the Dinomorphia monsters. Rexterm, your favorite boss monster, because this enables you to just make your own floodgate, which prevents opponents from activating monster effects that are higher than your LP, with an attack higher than your LP. If you have like 500 attack, you're pretty much shutting down so many monsters, pretty much shutting down like 60% of Yu-Gi-Oh monsters or much of the deck meta here. Kentrogena, your main play starter because it allows you to copy Dinomorphia normal traps from the graveyard. You want to copy Domain and Frenzy off the bat. And of course, all of these Dinomorphia monsters have graveyard effects that help you retrieve anything lower level, anything that has a lower level than themselves. Yeah. And lastly, for the extra deck, we have three Stiltbergia. Stiltbergia has that niche burn effect, but you don't really use this often. You're mostly using this as fusion fodder for Frenzy, and that's pretty much it. If you do get a win from this burn, please let me know in the comment section. That would be really awesome to tell. Now for the side deck, I opted for a bit more with more powerful blowout cards and cards that directly address some of the strongest decks in the game. For our first blowout, Dimension Shifter. Yeah, it's a bit nasty to run this. Dinomorphia, it's a double-edged sword for Dinomorphia because you kind of want cards in the graveyard, but post side, if you shifter an opponent, they're not gonna play. They're rarely gonna play, especially if their deck relies so much on their graveyard. They're really gonna stop, and you can use that opportunity to take advantage and get and steal a win on turn 2 3. Next we have 3 DD Crow. So DD Crow is really good. By the way, this is Asian English, not TCG, if you're wondering why I'm using an English card. So DD Crow is really good right now because it removes a lot of targets in the graveyard. Can remove Promethean here, can remove Novox from Voiceless Voice, so many utility. You can cut off resources for Rescue Ace as well. So versatile, very simple, not once per turn. Next we have 3 DD Crow. Now stuff like ritual decks like Voiceless Voice are just still there, still in the meta. Stuff like Snake Eyes, Rescue Ace, and Fire King have that populous engine with Bonfire, which allows them to generate so much advantage on field and sometimes even on hand. So you really want to just use Droll. Of course, you're gonna hit something like Full Wanderies eventually when you're playing in OCG. So yeah, really good, versatile card and solid against meta, way better against rogue decks. So always have Droll. Next for our board breaking blowouts, Harpy's Feather Duster, self-explanatory. Heavy Storm, self-explanatory. With this legal, with you now have two huge back row wipers that just open up the game for you at the right opportunity. For our anti-meta spice, for just removing stuff from Fire King or Rescue Ace, we have Soul Release. Soul Release just allows you to banish 5 from either graveyard, so really cool. Not once per turn, also really old card. Another old tech that has been revived thanks to the current format warping much of how Yu-Gi-Oh should be played. So for the another side, Anti-Spell. Anti-Spell is one of the most popular floodgates now. It's at 3. It might get hit next ban list because of how much it is used. But for now, if your deck doesn't really care about not using spell cards like Dinomorphia, use anti-spell because you're shutting down so many decks right now. Rescue Ace is gonna have a really difficult time. Fire King also will have a difficult time. Snake Eyes as well. A lot of the spell decks will have a difficult time. Branded has been like third, fourth best deck in the format. Right now it's probably second. It also loses to anti-spell if they don't have the out for it. So really good right now, anti-spell. So if your deck doesn't care about spells too much, anti-spell is your best side right now. Really nasty. Might get hit because of this format alone. Now, for other cards, we're gonna have tech considerations for this section. Next we have Baguska. Baguska is a good rank 4 option if you want to shut down boards in a pinch. Artifact Lance is good because stuff like Ritual Beast exist, so you just want to prevent their combos from popping off. Wannabe is a great trap hand trap that allows you to set from your deck and excavate and set from your deck, really nifty. I just don't think you're gonna resolve this as explosively as in other formats because a lot of decks right now have back row at least 1 to 3. So you're gonna excavate a limited number because of it. That's good. Next we have Labyrinth Areas. So this is really good as side deck option. I've been playing this on main deck. It feels a bit bricky. It's not as solid as it should be. But I think Arias is really good if you wanna go Rex turn 0 and that will shut down your opponent. Next we have the Super Polymerization package. So this is really good. If you're like running a more loose extra deck. So this allows you to just address so many decks in the meta. Voices Voice, Centurion might still be there despite Calamity Ban. Might be there as a rogue deck. Rescue Ace can get hit hard by this. So does Fire King. So really good to have a really incredible blowout card that wipes out at least 2 monsters on your board. Really cool. Next, we have another ridiculous floodgate. We have Summon Limit. So Summon Limit is really neat because Summon Limit allows you to just shut down combo decks, make their lives miserable. Even mid-range decks hate this. So just basically slow down your opponent to a crawl with this. So really crazy. Around our last few. Red Reboot, just in case stuff like Labyrinth still becomes relevant, or whatever trap deck arrives, just bring out a Red Reboot. Even though you're a trap deck in Dinomorphia, it's fine. Win the trap mirror by shutting them down. And another option here, Solemn Judgment. I didn't put Solemn Strike here because I think Intact already does that job. Debunk also does the same job, nearly. That's all good. Next, we have Solemn Judgment here. So my choice here, this is just a really good trap card against negates and stuff like other counter traps. Maybe if your opponent has Red Reboot, you can chain Judgment and still keep playing. But for now, what I do not like about Solemn Judgment is when you use this, you're gonna destroy, and when you destroy something like a Fire King card, it's not gonna be the most pleasant thing. But hey, that's it for our Dinomorphia OCG deck profile. And how does this stack up in the meta? You ask. For those who are wondering, I think uh Dinomorphia will be struggling a bit. It's gonna be really difficult to find a proper build that will address all of the meta, but Rexterm is still a really strong floodgate. Dinomorphia still has really strong disruptions, and it still has enough space for nasty floodgates and powerful hand traps that can blow out the game. So I think Dinomorphia will have a solid chance against a lot of the meta. And don't forget, it can Rexterm can shut down Rescue Ace Turbulence. Rescue Rexterm can just shut down so many boards by itself sometimes. Just as long as you get your timing right, just as long as you properly address your trap cards right. So it's gonna be really good. But for now, that's it for today's video. I hope you learned a lot from this video. I hope you're taking notes as well on the tech cards and deck recommendations I have. It's gonna be really good. And I'm looking forward to trying out the OCG format this 2024 and hopefully get more events. I wish we had more OCG events. That's gonna be really good. But for now, you can like this video, you can share this video, you can subscribe to the channel to help it grow. Thank you so much for that. And that's it for this OCG deck profile video. This is the first one. And I hope to see you on the next one. So goodbye, guys. Thank you for watching.